So morning, my loves. Have a few moments to settle on your mat, lying or seated, whatever your body is drawn to. And we'll just have a few moments to tune into our breath. So as you breathe, noticing whether it's shallow or deep, an easy flow or whether there's a little bit of resistance. And we can have a moment to consciously in our mind root down our energies. And just have a full body scan. Start at the head. Just scan through what you notice. What you're noticing physically. What you're noticing emotionally, perhaps in places in the body. And we'll also glance through the chakras. So starting at the crown, Sahasrara above the top of the head. Noticing how the energy feels here. And then your third eye. Your throat chakra. Heart center. Your solar plexus above your navel. And your sacral below the navel. And then finally the root at the base of your spine. And just as you glance at these areas of your body, notice if there's any kind of intuitive feeling that comes with tuning into these chakras, these energy centers. What do you feel like you need from your practice today? And maybe it'd be nice to set a short intention. Notice if your practice today, it does sort of connect with what you're needing as well. Whether you're focused perhaps more on the physical or the breath or perhaps the mindfulness of what's going on. We kind of drift through all of those layers as we move through. So I'm going to join you lying down and we'll come into our stretches. So on your next inhale, taking your right arm up and over, letting the hand fall to the floor behind you. And just flexing into that right foot, toes lifted, pushing into the heel, and just gently stretching. Enjoying this space that you can create this side of your body. And then point your toes, have a few moments to feel what it feels like on the top of the leg. And then when you're ready, relaxing, exhaling, taking the arm down, palms up. Deep breath in, left side now. And then flexing your foot. Enjoying a lovely long stretch here. Pointing toes. And then when you're ready, exhaling, taking the arm down. Palms up into Shavasana. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, both arms over. And a lovely long stretch, flexing feet and pointing toes. And just working the ankles backwards and forwards gently. Feeling whatever you feel around the calves, the knees, the thighs. And then exhale, coming down, arms down. And having just a breath here. Bringing your right knee into chest, hands around the shin, and a deep breath. Exhale as you come up, and just exhale fully. So often I think we exhale when there's still breath left in, so fully exhale, holding the breath. Inhale when you're ready to come down, and then the other side. Nice deep breath in. And then exhaling up. Deep breath in and coming down. Both knees And again. And exhaling up. Belly falls to the spine, holding the breath out. And then inhale, coming down. Gently rock. And then make a few small circles in one direction and in the other. And we'll take our hands and feet up into the air, warming up this way today. So stretching fingers, stretching toes, and then opening and closing, thumbs in and thumbs out, alternating. And then flexing, pointing, and wrists, palms up and down. Starting to rotate. Hearing all the clicks. And then other way a few times. Lowering the arms down, keep the legs raised, and then we'll just cycle to warm up our knees. How do they feel today? Usually with the warmer weather coming, it feels nicer through the joints if you do normally suffer, and then we'll rotate the other way, rather cycle the other way. Where do you feel that? Hip flexors, knees, thighs. And then just hug the knees in for a moment. Just relax. And then left foot down, right leg raised. And we'll make some big circles. You can follow the gaze onto your big toe. And just follow those circles you're making. And then the other direction a few times. And then swapping over legs. So left leg up now. And just noticing how your hips are feeling today. Other way. And then coming back with the knees into the chest for a moment. And again, gentle rock. You can sort of release the activation you had in the belly. Let's bring the feet to the mat. And we'll come into a nice reverse pigeon stretch or thread the needle. So bring your right foot onto the left knee. And then clasping the hands around your left thigh, we'll just bring the leg away from the mat. Nice glute stretch here. Just a few moments to notice where you're holding the tension. And then releasing down, we'll swap to the other side. So the left foot on the right knee, and we pull the right leg away from the mat. How does it feel? Are you tense in your calf and thigh on the left side? Notice your breath to the belly. And then we will relax. So just bring your knees to chest and make sure your toes are touching. Keep your feet together and hands can rest on the knees. And we'll just do some hip circles. So take the knees away from you, out to the side, round and back. So you're making sort of circles with your knees. Again, a nice way of warming up the hips, and also you can sort of feel a lovely little rock on the lower back here. And then we can go in the other direction a few times. And come to stillness. And then we'll come up to seated just to warm up the upper body. Come up slowly if you feel a little bit dizzy at times. So you can rest the hands in chin mudra. Let your eyelids close, let your face soften. And just come into a comfortable seated position. When you're ready, taking the chin down to chest. Pausing here a few moments. Feeling the stretch. And then chin up to the ceiling. And then down again. Relaxing shoulders a bit more. Once more up. And then coming back to centre. Tilting the head to the right. And then left. And we'll just do that once more time each side. Feeling whatever you feel. Is there anything new today, or does it feel quite familiar? And then left. Coming back to centre, and then we'll just twist the head as if we're looking over the right shoulder. And then left side. Same again. And to the left. Returning to centre, and then with the chin down, we'll just take a full rotation of the head all the way around. And then back the other way. Coming back to centre. Just bring the hands onto the shoulders and we'll just take a few rotations here. And the other way. Lovely. Okay, so coming off your cushions. Onto all fours, and I'm going to talk you through a nice little routine of a variation on cat-cow. There's 10 steps. So as you have your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees under your hips, I'll talk you through them. We'll do it a couple of times, see if you can follow. So this is neutral in 1. 2, we exhale and arch up into cat. 3, the belly drops into cow. 4, we're going to bring the right knee in towards our nose. Keep the foot pointed. 5, we're going to extend the leg backwards and a nice straight leg. 6, we're going to lower the knee down, but at the same time, we're going to bring the left knee forward towards the nose and we kind of curl up into the cat. 7, we extend the left leg back. Belly drops. 8, we bring that left knee down and we arch up into the cat. 9, we drop the belly into cow. And 10, we come back to neutral spine. So we'll just do that again. So what you'll notice is there's a little bit of movement between the legs in certain number of the poses. So, okay, 1, neutral spine. 2, exhale, arching into cat. 3, belly drops, cow. 4, we bring the right knee into nose. 5, we extend the leg back. 6, we lower the leg, but we also bring the left knee towards the nose and arch up. 7, we extend the left leg back. 8, we bring the knee down, but also arch into the back. 9, we drop the belly into cow. And 10, we come back to neutral spine. It's a nice little sequence, isn't it? Just 10 moves, but you're getting a nice flex through the spine. And then just let yourself come back into Hastabalasana for a moment. Drop the head down. A few nice deep breaths. Relax the upper back. And then we'll walk the hands over to the right hand side. The arms can come parallel over to the right and we'll get a nice stretch in the left side of the body. How does it feel through the muscles in your back? And then we'll come back through centre and then take the arms over to the left now. Feeling a nice stretch through the right side. And then let's come back to centre. Walk the hands back in nice and slowly. As you lift your head, just awareness of any kind of dizziness. And just take a few moments. Okay, turn the toes under. Nice stretch here. Just on the way up to standing. And then coming up. We'll do a sun salutation today, and then we'll come into the moon salutation, the version where we flow across the mat, just so there's a little bit more of a variety of movements today. So join me at the top of your mat, energizing our solar plexus with our sun salutation, and then hands to our heart center. Deep breath in, and then exhale, release. Inhale, arms up, and then folding forward on your exhale down. Take a moment here if you need to, the first fold of the day, so just exploring how your back feels. Take a few deep breaths. And then we can lift the back, look ahead of us. Hands down to mat, right leg back into the low lunge equestrian. Take a few moments here, let's stretch through the legs, just enjoy this. And then down dog. If taking the head down like this is uncomfortable for you or creates dizziness, you can always just come onto all fours as an alternative, just while you're feeling like that. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale, knees down, buttocks come back to the heels. And then on your next inhale, we flow through let's come into Sphinx, easy cobra for a moment. Checking in with how the lower back feels here for our first little back bend. And then back up into down dog. Left leg forwards. Gazing up to the ceiling, hands still on the mat. Feet together at the top of the mat. And we'll sweep up. Hands to heart. Take a lovely deep breath in. We'll come into the other side. Exhale. Inhale. And forward fold. Lifting the back, looking ahead. And then left leg back. Take a moment here, just if you need to adjust your feet. This lovely low lunge. Feel that stretch around the pelvis and top of the legs. Down dog. Inhale, exhale, come down. Inhale to cobra or Sphinx, whichever suits you. Exhale to down dog. And then right leg forwards. Gazing up. Feet together at the top of the mat. And sweeping up. Okay. Lovely. Have a few moments. You can bring your hands back to your heart center. Close your eyes. Just feel your heartbeat. Perhaps a little bit faster than before we started. And then we'll come straight into the moon salutation. So just coming to slightly off center to the right of your mat so that you've got enough space to move left. Feet comfortably together, and then hands to heart. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, we lean out to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale left. Coming back. And then into goddess squat. Take your left foot to the side, coming down. Lifting up, turning the right toes in, the left toes out into Trikonasana. Take your time to come down. Just notice your posture if you have to adjust, if the chest collapses forward. Bringing your right hand down, your right hip forward as we just rotate gently into pyramid. Take a breath or two here. Notice the stretch in the backs of the legs, and if you can come down a little bit more. Then bending into that left knee, we're going to lower the right knee down, come into a low lunge and raise the arms into a crescent. Hands down to the mat on the inside of your left foot. And we'll rotate the whole right leg all the way over. Toes pointing upwards, knee points upwards. And just enjoy this. It's too juicy to move through too quickly for that lovely stretch on the inner leg. And then over to the other side. Take a moment here. And then turning to the short edge of your mat into that low lunge. So repeating the practice the other way. Hands come down. Just push yourself up into pyramid. Take a few moments here just to feel whatever you feel. Open up into triangle pose, Trikonasana. And coming up to goddess squat. Right foot to your left. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale, lean outwards. Into centre, then inwards. And coming back to centre. Lovely. Bring your hands back to your heart. And again, it's quite nice just to close the eyes for a few moments. Feel your heartbeat. And then you can have a moment, lie down on the mat. Just feel into it, into Shavasana. Have a nice long sigh. Let the body soften. And just inquire how good that feels through your body. Very balancing for your right and your left energies. The masculine and feminine. Just notice how your breath softens. And then we can gently draw our knees in. Some rocks and rolls, circles. Coming up to happy baby. Let's have a nice stretch through the hips here. So the soles of the feet facing the ceiling. If you can grab onto the soles, that's great. If not, then around the ankles, or if even that's difficult, the backs of your knees, just resting on the backs of your thighs, you can. Different ways to hold on here. And then maybe rock a few times. How does it feel through your back? When we're in this position, you can sort of feel the mid to upper back against the mat. And then draw the knees in for a moment. And have another little rock. We'll come down and work with some bridge pose today. Nice gentle movement through our spine. So feet come close to the buttocks, about hip distance apart, and then palms down at the side. Let's take a nice deep inhale. Push through the heels, coming up. And just pausing here for a moment. How does it feel, the stretch over the knees, into your thighs, buttocks engaged? And then we'll gently, on the next exhale, float down, one vertebrae at a time, rolling out the tailbone last. And then we'll come up again. This time what we'll do is bring our shoulder blades together behind the back a bit more. So inhale, push up. And then just see if you can slide your shoulder blades towards the spine. And it just encourages a little bit more lift here. Try and keep the head straight. The chest comes a little bit further towards your chin. Notice if your knees want to start going out to the side and trying to keep them lovely and parallel. Deep breath in. And then part your shoulders and gently come down again. You start to feel that little bit of energy movement and warmth in your thighs and buttocks here, and we'll come up one more time. So inhaling, push through the heels, coming up again, bring your shoulders towards your spine and have that little lift. If you can clasp your hands behind your back, that's nice. Try and keep the legs parallel like you have a yoga block between your thighs and you're trying to keep it there, that sort of feeling. Grounding into the feet. Take a breath and gently part the shoulders, come down. Have a moment just to extend your legs out. So we only did 3 of those, but held them a little bit longer than sometimes when we flow up and down. It's quite nice, but holding them, you're going to feel a little bit more of a build-up of warmth. So scan through from the soles of your feet. What do you feel all the way up through your legs? Notice your breath. Try and relax your legs, buttocks and back for just a few moments. And then we'll bring our knees in. We'll come into a lying spinal twist here, but we'll pause each side. We'll hold the poses. Sometimes it's nice to have the flow, and then other times it's nice just to sort of sink into the pose. So bringing the feet back to that same position. Arms can come out level with your shoulders. And then when you're ready, take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, drop the knees towards your right hand side. You can look towards your left if you wish. So as you first come into this pose, you're probably holding a little bit of tension still. And just see where it all is, whether it's in the backs of your thighs, your calf muscles, maybe even the ankles. Check in whether the sides of your waist are holding tightness. And just start to gently breathe into this posture. As you relax the lower leg to the mat, you might find that your left leg lifts a little. There might be a bit of movement there. Keep looking where there's tightness and tension. Just see if you can relax and feel the stretch in still an active way, but not overly tense. Deep breaths and just explore where the breath is moving. And we'll breathe in, lift up. Just have a moment in Shavasana before we come into the other side. Just want you to notice what you're feeling. Only takes a breath or 2. Can you feel a sort of an energy presence in your lower back here, having held that pose? And then we'll come into the other side. Notice if you want to bring your knees in. There might be a tendency to just sort of automatically want to draw the knees in for a few moments. And then we can bring the feet back to the mat. Arms out level with your shoulders and a nice deep inhale. Exhale, drop the knees to the left this time. Looking towards your right hand. And then just see how long it takes for you to kind of soften into this posture. Where do you need to relax first? Is it buttocks, thighs, back? Maybe even sort of around the hips, you find that you're holding the pose tense. This might be the time your tummy decides to rumble when you come into a twist as well, activating our digestive system. It's just interesting when you hold these poses to explore what's going on in your body. Are you tense in the lower back? Is there a strange tension you're holding to tilt the pelvis in a certain way? Following the breath. And then when you're ready, take a nice deep breath in, lift up. And take yourself into Shavasana. Let everything just have a few moments to realign. in your spine. Rock your pelvis if you need to, wag your tail a few times, and just find a comfortable position. And where do you feel it? Tuning in to whatever sensation you're getting. And then bring the knees in. Gently rocking. Let's come up to seated. Actually, we'll come into a little flow with the cobra to child's pose. So let's start working through some gentle back bends here. We'll start with crocodile. Elbows are in front of you. Base rib can still be felt touching the mat. And we'll just have a few breaths here. And then you can lower down, make a nice little pillow. Let's come up into Sphinx. Each posture feels just slightly different in the lower back. Again, awareness of what tension you might be holding initially, and then relaxing. And then we'll take ourselves down. Deep breaths. It's lovely to push the belly into the mat as you breathe and open up the back. And then we'll come up into cobra. So bring the hands sort of slightly below the shoulders. We're going to lift up. You still feel the pubic bone connected to the mat here. Elbows are tucked in. And then from here, just push yourself back into a child's pose. On your next inhale, come back into a nice low cobra. So bring yourself down and then push up a little. And then push yourself back into child's pose. Start to feel it in the arms here, almost like press-ups. Let's just do that one more time. Come back into a low cobra. Lift up into cobra. And then push back into child's. Rest here for a moment. You can rest your forehead on your fists, or bring your feet down to your feet, hands down to your feet. Nice deep breaths. Okay. Hands on the mat, lifting up. And then coming up. We'll do some seated poses. I'm going to invite you to come into what we call shoelace in yin. A lot of poses we take the legs out, we have that open rotation of the hips, and this pose is not my favourite, but it is good to practice now and then. So I like to come into sort of a kneeling position. And then I'm going to bring my right leg in front of my left. And then sit down. I'm not very good at this posture. I like to have a little pillow underneath my buttocks. And some people can sit here with both legs out completely flat. I can't do that. So you'll see that my right leg that comes over my left is quite lifted. The knee is quite lifted. But it's good to practice this. It's good to just sort of bring the body into that direction of movement where you're bringing the legs across the body rather than taking them out. So we'll just pause here for a few moments. Notice the kind of the deep stretch that you're perhaps feeling around the buttock and hip area. If this starts to make your body start screaming with pain, please come out of it immediately. It's okay if you can feel a challenging sensation, but as long as it's not pain. Just have a few moments to see if you can relax here. Where are you holding tension in the body? Okay, let's take a breath and come out. Just stretch your legs out forward in front of you for a moment. And just feel what you feel. We won't hold these poses too long. Okay. And then we'll come into the other side. Again, just come onto knees. Bring your left leg now in front of your right. Grab a cushion if you need to, just for that little bit of support in coming into the pose. And again, you'll see that my left leg is quite lifted. The rotation on my hip can't come flat down. Just have a few breaths here, just to see how your body feels. You might notice it feels quite different from one side to the other. Different from, rather. Again, if you're experiencing pain in the hips or the knees, please exit the pose. Only explore it if it is something you're comfortable in. Notice your breath, whether it feels deep or whether it's shallow. Where are you still holding a bit of tension that you could relax and it could soften the posture? And then we'll just take a breath and we'll unwind. Have a moment to just stretch your legs out in front of you. You can feel that. Okay, I'd like to come into a gate pose. If you have a block, it's quite useful. So we'll start, let's take the left leg out to the side. This is a lovely alternative to Trikonasana. So some people really collapse their body forward in triangle pose. And so I find this is another nice alternative to encourage people to have that sort of alignment in the body. We'll start by leaning towards the leg that we have extended. So rest your left hand, inhale, take your right arm up and leaning over. And you might not feel like you move in much at all, but just see what flexibility you have here. Deep breathing. Don't hold the breath. Might all be very shallow in the chest before you think about it. And then we'll come the other direction. So this is where it's nice to have the block to lean on, and then taking that left arm over. Nice stretch through the side of your body, coming into your gallbladder. And then just lifting up. And then I'd like you to kneel back onto your right leg, okay? And just see how this feels. A little bit of a compression here. You can just rest your hands either side. Feel a nice stretch into the side of the leg, a little bit like what we did within the moon salutation. So lifting up. Bringing feet back together. Just have a few moments. Bring your block to the other side. And we'll extend the right leg now. Really lovely pose to see any differences in how your hips are placed here. Right hand on the right leg, and we inhale left arm up and leaning in. And noticing any difference, whether you feel like you get a little bit more movement. Belly breaths, feel stretch in the waist. And then let's come to the other side. Taking that right arm over. Holding your breath, or are you breathing deeply? Coming up. And then just gently sit back onto your left leg. Taking a few breaths. Okay, lifting up slowly. Take yourself into a nice restful child's pose, whichever version you like, whether it's knees wide or knees together, forehead down and hands back. Just a few breaths. And then we'll bring the hands either side of the head. Just bring yourself up a little way. I'd like to do a couple of crown rolls. So bring your forehead to the mat. And then breathe in, roll up onto the crown nice and slowly. This is lovely and activating for your third eye and your crown. If there's any imbalance here, roll back to your forehead. Roll once more slowly onto the crown. And then coming back to the forehead. Lifting your head up slowly. Okay. I'd like to finish, having had the head forwards, with coming into an inversion, so taking the body in an opposite direction. Two options today. You can come into the nice, easy waterfall, like raising the legs with a cushion under the buttocks. But if you would like to come into shoulder stand, and I know some of you do like this pose, we'll do that. So you can either come into this version, more gentle. If you'd like to come into shoulder stand, join me in this semi-supine position. We're going to roll the knees towards the forehead. Roll up, support your back with your hands, elbows are bent, and then coming up into shoulder stand. If you ever come into this pose, don't twist the neck. Always keep your gaze towards your toes. And then just enjoying this lovely inversion. Wonderful for your throat chakra. Just following your breath. If at any time you want to come out of it, you can do so. Just staying in whichever version you've chosen. If you wish, you can just come down and come into a bridge. If you like shoulder stand, you can take your feet behind you into plow, halasana. See if your toes touch the floor behind you. And if you've got some sort of flexibility, you can bring your knees either side of your ears, bending at the knees and with the legs down. So only exploring what feels correct for you. And then in your own time, when you're ready, just gently support your body as you come down, lower and roll out safely. Have a moment in Shavasana. So it's lovely to have had the head low and rolled on your third eye and your crown, and then to come into an upside down position. Just have a few moments to settle. That's quite stimulating for the head. Let yourself relax. And then now, if you want to come into relaxation, pull over your blankets, pop on your socks. If any of you ever have some eye pillows, that's always quite nice. So you can get these lavender eye pillows. You can pop over your eyes. Just another way of sort of shutting the world out for a few minutes. So letting everything soften from the head, forehead, hair and scalp, eyes. Relax your eyebrows. Try and relax the muscles in your cheeks, softening around the nose, the top and bottom lip. And maybe just release through the jaw. The mouth may open a little. Relax around your throat and neck. Tops of your shoulders and all the way down the arms, upper arm to elbows, lower arms to wrists, palms and backs of the hands and all of your fingers and thumbs. Relax the front of your body, chest, heart, lungs, rib cage, diaphragm just softly breathing for you. Softening the belly, abdomen, your digestive system internally. Trying to relax all the muscles through your back. Allowing the spine to relax, all the cartilage between the vertebrae. Relax the pelvis and all the organs in the pelvis. Softening around your hips and buttocks, your thighs and then the tops and the backs of your knees, shins and calves, down to your ankles, tops and soles of the feet, all of your toes. Fully relaxed from head to toe. As you lie there, enjoying this little slightly warmer day, perhaps some of you have noticed the daffodils coming out now. Maybe some of you have got them at home. As you lie there, I'd like you to try and imagine breathing in the scent of a daffodil. We often can remember this from having them around. Think of a daffodil and how the little sort of funnel and a little craping round the top. The soft petals and that lovely strong stalk. Sometimes they have like what looks like a little bit like brown paper just around where the flower meets the stem. Sometimes daffodils have got quite an orange colour to them, little pale leaves, petals. Sometimes they're a real deep, bright yellow. Some are large, some are small. Some of them you see just dotted around, and then others are in big, vast bunches and almost like little fields of daffodils on the grass verges as you drive by, walk by. So just meditating on these lovely little spring flowers, how the colour yellow feels inside for you. That communicates with your solar plexus. How it perhaps brings up the lovely feelings of spring and hope and joy, lightness. So just have some nice quiet time now, being with your own thoughts, just enjoying a nice rest. very gently. Just bring your mind back from wherever you were drifting. Just focusing on your breath. And gently starting to move fingers and toes. Having a nice hug in and a rock. And then in your own time you can roll up to seated. We will chant our 3 Oms together. Take your time, have a moment to feel settled in a seated position. And then we can bring our hands to Chin Mudra. Take a lovely deep breath in. Bringing the hands together, rubbing the palms, warm palms over the eyes, and then letting the light through. And then Om Shanti, Namaste.